I have been running Baja Designs lights on my truck for several years, like the light bar in the bumper, these S2 Pros as my ditch lights, and I also have some S2 Pros as chase lights in the rear. But today, it's gonna be changing up a little bit. I have some brand new Nacho off-road lights here for the Fortune Taco, and we're gonna be putting some nachos on this taco. Stay tuned, I'm gonna get a little more detailed as to why I'm making the change. I'm going to talk a little bit about the features of these lights. So, what's going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. If you're new here, my name's Chris. Right behind me, this is the Fortune Taco. I already mentioned in the intro that I'm going to be removing some of these Baja Designs lights. Got these ditch lights here. We're gonna be replacing with some Nacho off-road lights. I did have some fog lights down here in my bumper. So I had some SAE Bajas and then some S2 Pros in here as well, since this DRT fab bumper allows for 2 lights in the fog pocket. So I'm gonna be putting a Nacho off-road lighting SAE in here. And then Nacho just released some brand new S2 similar lights. They're called Nanos. Once I get my hands on a set of those, I'm gonna be putting those in there. That'll be a later on video. As of right now, Nacho does not make light bars. So this Baja Designs light bar is gonna be staying for the time being. We can do Nacho everywhere, but they don't make any light bars, so I can't put anything there yet. Nacho, make light bars. Need to get rid of these, take these off so we can prep for the new Nachos here. We have 2 different sets of Nacho lights. They're both gonna be Nacho Quatros. So these are gonna be the Quatro Supreme combo lights. These are the Quatro SAE lights. So there's 2 features built into this. There is a backlighting, what they call a TRL light. It can light up just a little bit of the area in front of you. So if you're out night off-roading with vehicles in front of you, you turn on the TRLs, you're not gonna blind everyone, but you're still gonna get some light so you can see in front of you and off-road at night. These also have the TRL feature, but because these are the Supremes, they have, I believe, 8 or 9 different modes built into them. They come with multiple different colored lenses already included in the package. It's one price, you get all the lenses. So you can change this from white to amber, no matter what light you get. You don't have to buy extra lenses. It comes with everything you need to switch the color. And then we'll get deeper into it when I actually plug these things in and test them out. It comes with a little magnet. They call it tip to chip technology. Just by tapping a magnet on the side of the light. So you can do a spot output, you can do a flood output, you can do all lights combined, being the combo. So you have multiple different options to pick, and it's really nice. You can just change this by tapping a magnet. You don't have to go buy a new light. You don't have to change the output. You don't have to change the lenses. Tap the magnet on the side, and you are literally changing the light entirely without having to buy new lights. So that is the biggest selling point on these for me. Nacho built this crazy technology in these things, meaning you can literally buy one light and then change it up and how it runs wherever it's placed in the vehicle, whenever you want. You can go out with that magnet, tap these lights, and switch them up and change them whenever you want, not have to worry about changing lenses, and you don't have to go back to Nacho and buy a completely different light. It is all built into one light, and you can change it as many times as you want. So I'm gonna open these things all up. I'm gonna get everything installed, play around with them a little bit, show you some of the features. But as far as output lighting goes or any type of testing, I'm probably gonna be making a future video, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'm gonna be putting some Southern style off-road ditch light brackets on the truck. And then for those fog lights, I've got some brackets here made by Nacho Off-Road that I'll attach these to the DRT bumper. And then these will run just like a factory fog light using that factory on and off switch. So one reason I really like these Southern style off-road brackets, one, they sit very low profile to the hood for a nice clean look, but in the 2 slots here, one of them has a groove in it rather than just being a hole. So when you place it on here, you can leave your front bolt in for the hood latch. Using the grooves here, that slides up in there, so you can leave a bolt in to kind of keep your hood on and not worry about it flopping all over the place. For any other ditch brackets, usually you need like a second set of helping hands to help you hold the hood in place so you don't mess anything up. All right, let's see what a Nacho Supreme Quattro comes packaged with. The packaging and presentation is pretty dang good. These are gonna be our beefy lights. The housing's on here. So it has all of this black you see here is all just a black plastic trim. It's just to dress it up and make it look pretty. Positive and negative, you can run that straight to battery because there's relays built into these lights. And then these are just your switch wires. So these can go to your switch controller. So all the load of the light is not going through your switch controller, it's going straight to your battery. And the switch controller is just doing the actual triggering of the relays that are built into the light housing. And then these 3 trigger wires can be set to 3 different light modes, and you can customize and change these as much as you want using that magnet we talked about. So you can set this on switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, and they could all be different. So one could be spot, one could be flood, and then one could be all lights combo together. I don't think I've ever seen any light on the market that has relays built into the technology of the light. There are 3 relays inside of this light housing, which is why you have just trigger wires here. There's no relays. You don't have to add anything into this wiring. They do sell an optional wiring harness. I did opt to get the wiring harness. I just figured it'd be a lot easier to use all of their wiring to connect this to my truck, but if you want to do your own custom wiring, you can do that as well. When you buy other lights, anytime I've seen other manufacturers, you have to buy separate lenses. These are also treated as covers. Nacho and ARB do have a partnership, so the blackout covers they come with are ARB covers, but these amber covers, they do say Nacho on it. This is how you would change your lighting to amber by using these. I'll actually show you one real quick. You can see this gray kind of colored bezel. You just pull back on either side and that bezel comes off. You then lay this light cover in here and fits in with all these grooves it has here. Once that's laid in, you will pop this back on. And we now just switch the lens on this. This is now an amber light as opposed to the straight clear. And that's how easy you change the color of your lights. We have the brackets. These are our brackets that we are in return gonna attach to the ditch light brackets, and that's how we mount our light. And then we have our bag of hardware here. And then the last thing in the packaging here, this is that magnet I was talking about. This is the special Nacho. Oh, it's even branded Nacho. Somewhere around here on the side, there's a magnet built into this light. All you do is tap the side of the light with this magnet, and it's gonna cycle through our different modes on this light, but we'll get into that once we have this thing powered up. All right, now that I got that all properly installed, let's see if we can get this thing wired up and powered on. So it's a little bit of a mess right now, but we have power going into the Blue Sea systems. We have it wired up to the light with just one trigger so far, just the green trigger. And that green trigger is going to switch number 5 on my S-Pod and press on that switch number 5. Come back out. And we now have light going here. I'll do the cleanup later off camera because that's not important about this video. But I want to show a little bit more about these lights. And the reason I ended up wanting these so bad, using the nifty little magnet tool here from Nacho. On the side, right where this is opening, so these are these little kind of like side shooter lights. You want to put the magnet right in this general area, and by tapping the magnet there, we're going to be adjusting the light settings. So using that magnet, we tap it to the light, and the settings of the light change. So I believe this is going to be full power output here. Tap it again. And that is gonna be all lights, but at a lower power. Tap it again, and you can see just the top 3 are on at full power, and the bottom, I think, is just that TRL kind of backlighting. Tap it again, and that goes into a low power, that same setting, 3 on top, none on the bottom. Tap it again, and now it's reversed. And the reason it's doing this is because there are different optics here in these lights. These top 3 are more of a spot feature. The bottom 3 are like a wide angles. They have a whole bunch of lines in them, spreading the light out. And why they call this a combo light is because when you turn in that full mode and it lights up all 6, you're getting a combination of a spot and a flood pattern. And then we're going back to, I think this is, so this is gonna be just a, like looking directly into it, you can kind of tell it's not even blinding the camera. This is more of like a brighter TRL function. So there's 2 different power levels when it comes to that TRL. This is a low power. It's not gonna be blinding to people. You can look right into it, and it's hard to tell on camera, but still, this won't be blinding to other people when you're out on the trail, but it'll help illuminate the trail for you. So if you're not the first person in the pack on a night run, you will wanna be using this TRL feature of these Nacho lights. And if we tap it another time, that's gonna lower the power of that TRL. And this is more of kind of like a DRL. It's just some backlighting, but it's not really meant to emit too much light out onto the ground. So once we have it bolted up there, everybody's vehicle is gonna be different depending on the bumper you have, if you're factory or some type of aftermarket. The aftermarket should all be fairly the same as far as just doing a U-bracket to the bumper. And your factory, they do make a factory plug and play kit that'll snap right into your factory bumper. But they're all gonna be the same as far as Tacomas go. The wiring will plug right into the Toyota factory wiring. It's a simple plug and play harness. That makes it easy. If you're wondering about the second connector off here, they do make a add-on harness for this. So that would be your secondary harness, which you wire to a switch controller. So you can control the TRL lighting on these SAE fog lights as well. But we'll have to do some testing later on and check out how freaking bright these are. They look pretty bright in the camera, but it's also daytime out. So we got the fog lights all wired up. They're bolted in. Just need to maybe zip tie one wire in there, but those are pretty simple and easy. As far as this ditch lights, I obviously have a lot more wiring to clean up before those are 100% installed, and I have to do that hardware I mentioned earlier. So I have a little bit more work to do here. I'm gonna be covering a more in-depth review of these lights and doing some light output video. That is gonna wrap up today's video covering the brief install. I didn't get too crazy with it because depending on your vehicle and your application, this install could be a little bit different, but I wanted to show you the general idea. Ever since I learned what these lights can do, I just wanted to start sharing it with people because I'm excited to be running these new Nacho lights. Hopefully we can get some more put on here. They just came out with some new nanos. I think I already mentioned those. We're gonna put some of those in the bumper. We might put a couple of the nanos up on the roof rack as some scene lighting when we're out at camp. Need to get my hands on some of those when I can, and maybe throw some of those in the truck and also show you guys the nanos. I need a couple favors from you if you stuck around this long. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. It helps this video be more successful to get seen by people just like yourself. If you have any questions about these Nacho lights or just anything in general about my build or for myself, drop a comment down below. I try my best to reply to every comment that's left on my videos. I already mentioned it once before because there's gonna be a part 2 to this. Once I get some testing done with these lights, I'm gonna make another video about the Nacho off-road lights. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You'll be able to see anytime I release any future content or those new Nacho light videos. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you sticking around all the way to the end, and I hope to see you on my next video.